What's up guys, Mr. Tomo2304 here today to review Bleach Volume 54, Goodbye to Our Xcution. Now, as you can tell from the title, it's the last volume in the Lost Agent arc. It's got Rukia on the front cover, marking her second ever cover since her really retro cover back on Volume 2. And she looks pretty cool. Obviously now it's Shinigami Rukia, she's got Soden no Shirayuki released, and she's on top of the telephone pole like she was before. Also pretty sure that this marks the I hear it's really weird that this marks the first use of like a prop in on a volume cover. I know some of that kind of like, I mean, Hanataro's got his little tray thing and everything, but I think this is the first actual kind of prop that someone's been standing on. You know, I think it's a nice looking cover. Not necessarily Kubo's best, but it's pretty good. It's much better than Rukia's first cover. The poem is something like, if you say your heart does not change, then that is strength. Kind of a meh poem, and I know it divided the fans because really its message is not that good. It's basically saying if you don't change as a person, then that's strong. Some ways that can be true, yeah, if you don't change for the worse, then that's good. But people can change for the better as well, and does that make you weak? No, not necessarily. So, obviously the poem is referring to the frankly pivotal moment in this volume when Rukia comes to the conclusion that the reason Soul Society has changed is because of Ichigo's steadfastness, is because of the fact that he hasn't changed at all, and that he's stuck by his views, basically. So that's kind of the meaning behind that poem. It's alright, not Kubo's best again. The All-Stars is Ichigo, Ginjo, Tsukishima, Shishigawara, Ruruka, and Rukia. Ichigo, obvious. Ginjo, obvious. Tsukishima gets his final fight with Byakuya in this volume. One of my favourite chapters of the arc, and one of my favourite fights in general. Mo gets a bit of love. Even though his kind of big speech, big Ikaku scene, which is really nicely done, is actually in volume 53, Mo gets put on the cover, on the All-Stars thing, this one. He does kind of have his character moment when he's deciding whether or not he hates Tsukishima. Obviously, in the end, he decides he doesn't. So that's probably why he's on there. And I suppose Kubo wanted every Fullbringer to be on the All-Stars just before it ended. Ruruka, again, kind of obvious, makes a pivotal choice to protect Ichigo. And Rukia, kind of obvious, but she gets defeated in her fight. I mean, I suppose mainly the reason she's on there is because of her whole epiphany that Ichigo is the whole reason behind Soul Society's change of heart. The volume covers chapters 470 to 479. I think it's Prey for Predators 2 to Goodbye to Our Xcution. The first bit's kind of dull. It's just Fullbringer backstory that's kind of rushed. It's all like they get like a page each. But then you move on to the end of the Ruruka fight, in which she defeats Rukia. And then you get chapter 472, Razor Edge Requiem, one of my favourite chapters, one of my favourite fights coming to a close. Really great fight, really great ending to a fight as well. Byakuya won through tactics rather than bullcrap. Then after that you get the whole kind of Enemies in the Dark, Leave chapters where Kugo makes his big revelation of the arc. Kind of underwhelming, kind of underplayed, but it's very nice to see Kubo bringing loose threads together. No matter how he does it, it's better than leaving them hanging. Because obviously way back when they come back from the Soul Society arc, you get that little image of Uryu sort of doing that. When he sees it, she goes, Soul Reaper badge. And I remember thinking for ages, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And in the fight you get the answers, because of Kugo. And he makes the revelation that the badge actually monitors you, the badge is not any real sign of authority. That was nice. It was nice to have a bit of relevance to the Lost Agent arc, apart from Ichigo getting his powers back. And, you know, I thought he did quite a nice job of the whole substitute Shinigami thing, although there is a bit more to be explained, but luckily Ginjo's back, so, you know, we can still get that. You get the whole reveal of Ichigo's new Bankai, which I think is really good, apart from the gloves. The gloves look stupid. The Bankai itself looks really cool. Ginjo reveals his Bankai, which I also think looks really cool. But the fight's kind of over in like a chapter. The art, though, is absolutely stupendous. The art is fantastic in this volume. There's a lot of eye shots. They look amazing. The amount of emotion in the eyes is incredible. So many close-ups, so many awesome fight scenes. Then you get, there's a lot of kind of, not a huge amount of plot progression, but there's a lot of, this is a turning point in the series. let the readers know. Like, Toshiro's like, you know, Ichigo's a great guy, blah 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 blah. Rukia, you realise this, and then yeah, you just have all the talk with the captains and Rukia, and they're like, we were going to kill both the substitute Shinigamis, but you showed us that Ichigo is better than Kugo. And then they're like, Ichigo can handle this on his own now. And this is a big turning point, because the Soul Society are kind of assholes. They didn't treat Ichigo with any real respect up until this moment. He's now treated maybe as one of them, as an adult, not necessarily as a Shinigami, as we've seen from Nimaya Oetsu in 527, but he's on their level, and I personally think Ichigo would have their backing. Kugo gets defeated. Then we get the really bullshit part of 478, which is just an awful, awful chapter. I can't actually remember what it's called either. But it's the one where it ends, 477 ends with the little tiny flashback, and then 478 just doesn't do anything with it. 478 was just a rounding up chapter, like Yukio and Jackie going off on their own, Riruka waking up in Urahara's place, all that kind of stuff, and Tsukishima dying on Moe's back. And then 479, however, is a really good chapter, because literally go back to the Soul Society. We finally find out that Kensei, Rose, and Shinji are captains, which we all kind of guessed anyway. But that's still really awesome to see, really cool to see, really refreshing just to see Soul Society again. Because, I mean, I know the final battle of the Aranka arc was in Soul Society, it was in the outskirts. This is the first time I think we've actually been to Soul Society properly, since the Soul Society arc. Because I know we saw glimpses of Soul Society in the Aranka arc, but we never actually went there. So this is a really nice change of pace. Really nice just to get rounded off, finish the Lost Agent arc, even if it probably was the worst arc in the series. A stupendous arc once again. Just a really nice way to end the volume as well, with 479. 55 comes in the post pretty soon. 1000 Year Blood War arc, I cannot wait, and I will be reviewing that one as well. Shout out to My Name is Goku for sending me these, thank you so much. I'm looking so forward to reviewing 55, but for now, 54, goodbye to our Xcution, 8 out of 10. Purely let down just by the fact it's Lost Agent. It's kind of a bit blurred, and you know what's coming next as well. And you're just like, oh my god, give me 55 now. But, you know, 54, it's a good volume. The art, you cannot fault the art. You cannot fault it. The whole Pray for Predators bit is a bit boring. It's kind of a bit of a mixed bag. That's the problem with 54, I think. You get like a spatter of not very good at the beginning, then you get awesomeness with Tsukishima and Byakuya, and then you get kind of yeah, okay with Ginjo and the badge, but it's kind of like, okay, not such a big deal. And then you get a spattering again of kind of awesomeness, I think, when Tsukishima tries to kill Ichigo, but then Riruka gets in the way, blah blah blah. That's cool. Then you get kind of shitty stuff after that, and then you get cool stuff again. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Overall, 8 out of 10, and I'm really looking forward to reviewing 55, and I will catch you Wednesday for a Bleach and Naruto review. See you then, guys.